You wake up at 2:47 in the morning. Your phone is face down on the nightstand. Something else pulled you out of sleep. You don't check the time first. You check the account. You run the math in the dark. Rent is Friday, the car payment hits Monday, and you have $380 left. You've called this being realistic for your entire adult life, but that version of careful is actually fear with a spreadsheet attached. When your savings hover under $1,000, you are living inside a cage. Your boss isn't the cage, and your rent isn't the cage. The trap is the absolute inability to absorb any mistake at all. Every life decision goes through the same filter. Can I afford to be wrong? When the answer is always no, you don't make a choice. You stay in the job you hate. You stay in the moldy apartment. The balance decides for you. $10,000 is the point where the math in the dark stops being an emergency and starts being a choice.
It provides the proof that you are capable of holding on to the money you earn, which changes the story you tell yourself about what you can handle. Crossing into 5 digits usually happens on a Tuesday. You open the app, watch the number climb, and go about your day. But your nervous system just received a piece of information it has never had. You can finally absorb a hit. Your brain knows you can survive the average financial setback that used to wipe out your entire month. This knowledge starts changing your behavior before you even realize it's happening. Consider a $600 car alternator failure on a Wednesday morning. With under $10,000, you have one option: fix it, charge it, and figure it out later. You sign the paper in a panic because you need wheels by Monday to keep your job. The options have collapsed into a single path. At $10,000, the options stay open. You can get a second opinion, wait a few days, or decide the car isn't worth fixing. A $600 repair is no longer a crisis. It is a decision with actual leverage. This applies to your career, too. Imagine a restructuring that eliminates your position, leaving you with 4 weeks of severance pay. Without savings, you take the first offer that comes along because the bills don't care about your long-term goals. With $10,000, you take the weekend to think. You negotiate. You say no to a bad offer because you have the cushion to survive it. The ability to say no in a negotiation is the only thing that makes the other side take you seriously. That cushion transforms a potential disaster into a manageable transition where you hold the power. While your internal perspective shifts, institutions start responding to you differently. The financial system doesn't see your face. It sees the signal coming from your account. At $10,000, that signal tells banks and algorithms that you are a low risk. This moves you into a different category of customer, opening doors that stay closed at a lower balance. Personal loan rates drop. Credit card offers move away from secured cards requiring collateral and toward real limits with reasonable rates. The system begins to offer you terms that aren't embarrassing. Even a conversation with a teller shifts. An overdraft fee that once took 3 phone calls and a manager to resolve now gets handled in a single, quiet conversation. The financial system responds to the leverage indicated by your balance. When you have $10,000, the system treats you as someone who has already proven they can manage capital. Slowly, the 2 a.m. math sessions happen less often. Your body stops running threat calculations at midnight because the low-level pressure of one wrong move has lifted. This improves your sleep, which makes you less reactive during the day. When you aren't desperate to protect every single income stream, you stop shrinking in rooms where you feel outranked. You stop laughing at things that aren't funny or agreeing with people you don't like just to stay safe. You also start noticing performative spending. When you're living on the edge, you spend to project stability, the dinner you couldn't afford or the upgrade you bought so you wouldn't fall behind. With $10,000, you stop buying the feeling of being okay and start spending on things you actually want. You no longer need to prove to strangers that you're fine because you have the proof in your own account. The version of you that existed under constant financial pressure was a compressed version, shaped by what you couldn't risk losing. $10,000 lets the rest of you come back. For most of your adult life, time has been the enemy. You work for a year, the money leaves as fast as it arrives, and you end up exactly where you started. You're just maintaining the ground beneath you. At $10,000, time becomes the engine. You watch the account grow by $50 in a month without doing a single thing because it's sitting in a high-yield account. You are no longer just maintaining, you are building.
This is the first time you see that money grows when you leave it alone. The hard part wasn't earning it. It was accumulating enough that you stopped consuming it the second it arrived. Hitting this number is the evidence that you can break the earn and spend loop. Once that gap between you and the edge widens, it continues to grow every month without you having to fight for every inch. You wake up, check the app out of curiosity rather than fear, and see the number is still there. You make your coffee. The ceiling you used to stare at in the dark doesn't even cross your mind.